If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name's Ryan Pineda. I'm a real estate investor here in Las Vegas. I personally have done hundreds of house flips. The majority of them are here in Las Vegas. And for the past 3 years straight, we've done over 100 deals each of those years. Now, even though doing a lot of deals is fun and profitable, I actually enjoy teaching how to do real estate investing more so. And if you're somebody that wants to learn more about real estate investing, you can go to futureflipper.com. That's my shirt right here, which is my real estate education company, and we can help you out. But my goal for this video is to show you every single step you need to flip a house. We're gonna go over how to choose a market, how to pick a team, how to evaluate deals, and how to sell that first flip and make a profit. So without further ado, let's just jump into it and go into step one, which is before anything else, you've gotta pick a market that you're gonna flip in. Now, when I'm looking at picking a market, I like to look at 4 different factors. Factor number 1 is the population. Now, personally, I like markets that have over 500,000 people. And the reason is you just have more opportunity. When there's a bigger population, there are more houses to accommodate that population. And so I want to give myself the most opportunities to find deals. Now, look, I understand that not everyone lives in a major market with over 500,000 people, but I would not flip in a market that has anything less than 100,000. 100,000 would definitely be my cutoff because once you get to that small town territory, things change dramatically. There's just not a lot of houses in those areas, so you can't get as many deals. The labor force isn't gonna be as big or strong, and you might have people that are migrating away from these small towns into bigger areas. So try and choose a market with bigger population size. Second thing I like to look at is price point. How expensive are these houses? If you're just starting out, do you wanna try and go flip in San Francisco? Probably not. If you're just starting out, you're probably better flipping in an area that's got a more median priced home, maybe like a Vegas, maybe like Phoenix or Dallas. And you're seeing a lot of investors go to those markets because they're reasonably priced, the homes are a little bit newer, people are moving there, so there's a lot going on. So always think about your price point when you're choosing a market. Third thing you're gonna look at is inventory levels. Now, the way that you calculate inventory levels is by taking the amount of homes that have sold in the last 30 days and dividing it by the amount of homes that are active on the market currently. So for example, let's say that 2,000 homes sold in the last 30 days, but 2,000 homes are available right now on the market. That means if no new houses came on the market, everything would sell within the next month. As you can imagine, that is extremely low. And so if you're flipping houses, you wanna be in markets like that. When there's low inventory, you can get more for your flips because people don't have as many options. Personally, I like to be in a market that has 3 months or less of inventory. That means that it's a seller's market when they go to sell a home. Once you start getting in that 4 to 6 months of inventory range, it becomes more of a neutral market. It's not really a buyer's or a seller's market. Things are selling for what they should. And then once you get above 6 months of inventory, it means it's an extreme buyer's market, and that's probably not where you wanna flip. Buyers have all the options, they have all the power, they can kind of do whatever they want. So definitely watch inventory levels when you are picking a market. Now, at the time of this filming, inventory is at all-time lows nationwide. There are a lot of markets that have 1 month of inventory. Right now in my market of Vegas, we are like that, and because of that, we're getting way more for our flips than we thought. Houses we thought we were gonna sell for 300,000, we're getting 330 for them. And that's because buyers don't really have a choice. We can ask for more and they're willing to pay it because it's the only house they can buy. So being in a low inventory market is great. It's not really a problem right now with where the economy is at. But that's enough about inventory. Let's talk about the 4th thing you need to know when choosing a market, and that's proximity. So the reason that I flip in Vegas is because I live in Vegas. It makes it a lot easier to flip where you live. But the only reason I'm able to do that is because Vegas checked the box for everything else I just listed. It's got good population, it's got good price point, it's got low inventory, and I happen to live here, so all the things align for me flipping here. Now, what do you do if you live in a small town or a town that has a buyer's market? Well, you wanna kind of think about where is the next town over that allows you to hit all those things I mentioned. Maybe it's an hour away. I don't think an hour away is a big deal if you wanna flip there. But maybe the next biggest town that fits all those criteria is 3 hours away. That makes it a little bit tougher, but not impossible. In fact, we flip in other markets as well. So for me, proximity is an important thing you need to think about when you're flipping because things get harder when you're not there. If we're gonna go flip in another market like Tucson, where we do invest, we wanna make sure we're getting better deals. Because when it comes to remote flipping, there are more risk, things are harder, so you need to get a bigger return on your investment. Now, all that being said, that's just the first step of flipping a house with picking a market. You want to look at all of those factors before you choose where you're going to flip. Doing the rest of these steps doesn't matter until you have that in place. Now let's talk about step 2. That is to build out your team. Now there are 4 main players that you need to build out for your team. There's the real estate agent, there's the lender, there's the title company, and there's your contractor. Now when it comes to real estate agents, they're a very important part of the process. They're the ones who are going to be helping you list your home. They're the ones helping you evaluate deals. They're going to potentially be making you offers to buy homes on the MLS. So a realtor is something that you need to have. Now, when it comes to finding a realtor, you want to find somebody who's willing to hustle. In order to get flips, you got to make a lot of offers, and most realtors just aren't willing to do it. On top of that, when you go to list your flips, you're typically going to ask them for a reduced commission. And you may not ask that starting out since you're just getting started, but over time you will because you're going to be bringing volume to them. And so my advice is don't pick a realtor because they're the top realtor in your city. They likely don't have enough time for you. Also, you probably don't want to pick your friend who's a realtor because you might ruin your friendship with your unreasonable ask that you're going to have later on. And let me tell you, it is unreasonable what we ask realtors to do because we want them to make a ton of offers for not a lot of pay. We make a lot of money because the profit is good when one of those offers get accepted, but typically their commission isn't worth the time it takes to make all those offers on our behalf. Maybe they're doing like a deal a month right now. That is the perfect person. They're active, but they're not so busy that they can't help you. And if you can sell them on the vision that you're gonna be this full-time flipper and eventually your amount of deals could double their volume, they'll take you seriously. So finding a good realtor is really important. You can go look up their stats on Zillow. You can go ask people on Facebook for referrals, and then just do your process of vetting them. Second person you're gonna need is a good lender. Now, the lender that you need is not a traditional 30-year loan conventional lender. You need what's called a hard money lender. I've done other videos on hard money lenders. I'll link to some of them below. But essentially, they are people that will lend to you regardless of your income, your credit, any of that stuff. All they care about is, are you getting a good deal with a lot of equity? The other type of lender you need to start looking for is a private lender. A private lender is gonna be a friend or a family member, and they're somebody that could potentially fund your whole deal or partner up with you to fund the down payment for the hard money loan. I call it hybrid funding when you're combining 2 different types of lenders. And this is how you can get into a flip with no money down. You get a hard money lender to cover the majority of it, then you get a private lender to cover the rest of it. So you can't flip without a good lender. The third person on your team you need to think about is the title company. So the title company is going to be the one that does all of the paperwork for the transaction. Your realtor probably has a good recommendation, but what I would advise is getting a title company who's investor friendly. They should have worked with other investors before, and they should be aware of what wholesaling is. We're gonna talk about wholesaling later on in this video, but just understand if they've never heard of it, then they're probably not the title company for you. You could find title company references by going into real estate investment Facebook groups and just asking around. The fourth member of your team you need to add is your contractor. So we're all familiar with what contractors are. We need them to fix and flip. So you wanna get a contractor who's worked with other investors just like the title company. There are essentially 2 types of contractors. You've got the retail one who only wants to work with essentially regular people and they can charge them more. And then you've got contractors who work with investors. They realize that they're trying to get a great deal and that they could potentially be multiple deals for that contractor. So they're usually willing to give a much cheaper discount to the investor in the hopes of future business. So find a contractor who's willing to work with investors. Once again, Facebook groups are great for finding them, referrals, you can look on Google. There's a lot of ways to find contractors. So those are the 4 members of your team you need to build before you can start doing this next step, which is number 3, learning to evaluate deals. Essentially, TV will just tell you, oh, we sold it for this price, we bought it for this price, you know, we put this much into it in renovation expenses, and we paid our realtor this. That means the rest is all profit. If you've been following me, you know obviously that's not true. There are a whole bunch of other factors that go into profit. The real formula for profit is your sales price minus your purchase price, minus your renovation cost, minus your realtor fees, minus your holding cost, minus your money cost, minus your closing cost, minus other fees. Then you create your profit from that formula. But as I said before, if you're serious about getting into real estate investing, go to futureflipper.com, just hit the apply button, and we'll get you started even if you're brand new and know nothing. But you gotta learn to evaluate deals. That is going to be the biggest key to succeeding in this business, is proper deal evaluation. Now, once you've got that down, it's gonna lead you to step 4, which is finding a deal. Now, there are really 3 ways to find deals. Number 1, on the MLS. Number 2, from wholesalers, which we kind of mentioned before. And number 3, direct to seller marketing. Now with the MLS, there are a whole bunch of ways to get deals. One of my favorite ways is auto searches. You basically just set up searches with your realtor and you get notified every single time a property hits the market that fits your search. I know it's a mouthful, but essentially you're just setting up these traps. Your searches are going to be things that could potentially be good deals, potentially undervalued properties. And the goal is when an auto search comes in your email and it looks like a good deal, you then make an offer on the listing. That's how I've gotten the majority of my MLS deals over the years. And for the people who tell you that MLS is dead, do not listen to them. We have made millions of dollars from MLS deals. And so there's a lot of deals in the MLS if you're willing to put in the work. The second way that we get deals is through wholesalers. Now, essentially, wholesalers are just deal finders. What they'll do is they'll go get a property under contract for, say, $100,000, and then they will in turn sell it to you, the investor, for whatever they can make above that. Maybe they're able to sell it to you for $120,000. So their profit will be whatever they have it under contract for with the seller to what they can sell it to the flipper for. In this case, it'd be $20,000. And that $20,000 is called an assignment fee or a wholesale fee. And here's the deal with wholesalers. They don't actually have to buy the property. They're able to just sell you the contract for that fee. And so what happens is the flipper brings the money to the table, the $120,000. They bring it to the title company, they do their thing. They now give the seller $100,000, they give the wholesaler $20,000, and the buyer gets the property for the $120,000 they paid. Everyone wins. The buyer is happy because they're willing to pay $120,000 for it. The seller gets the $100,000 they originally wanted, and the wholesaler makes $20,000 for finding a deal. Now you might be sitting here thinking, well, wait, I would rather be the wholesaler. They didn't have to buy it, fix it up, do any of that stuff. And you're right, being a wholesaler is great. We wholesale as well. And a lot of these steps I'm talking about, you don't even need to do when you're wholesaling. And so if you want to be a wholesaler, we also teach that at Future Flipper as well. So as I said before, just go apply, we'll hook you up. And that leads me to my third way to get deals, which is direct to seller. So instead of the wholesaler getting a deal, or instead of having to go through a middleman realtor to get a deal in the MLS, you make a deal directly with the seller. Now, finding these sellers is not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes marketing. It takes a whole bunch of other stuff. But these are where the juiciest deals are because, as I said before, there's no middleman and you're free to negotiate directly. And we use a number of different marketing techniques to get a hold of sellers. We cold call, we text message, we do what's called PPC, that's pay per click on Google. We do direct mail, we do TV commercials. The list goes on and on. Now, you don't have to do all those things. I know many successful flippers that just cold call or just text, and they do it really well and get tons of deals. Our best deals ever have come from direct to seller marketing. So no matter which way you choose to go, you can definitely start flipping houses by just picking one of those ways. In fact, when I got started, I just was only using the MLS to get deals. Then I started using wholesalers to get deals. And eventually we started doing our own direct to seller marketing. So don't feel overwhelmed like you gotta do them all. You don't. You can be very good at just one of those things and get your first deal. Now, once you find a deal, the next step is to actually buy the home. Now, remember the title company and the lender that I talked about in step 2 when you were building your team? Well, you're gonna need them now to buy the home. The title company is going to do the work to make sure that you're getting the property and there's no secret liens or anything else that you don't know about. They're gonna give you what's called title insurance to guarantee you're getting the property that you think you're getting. And your lender is now going to fund the deal for you so that you can buy it. And this is one of the funnest steps because the old saying goes that you don't make money when you sell the home, you make money when you buy it. If you buy a good deal, you're gonna make money later on. You can't buy a really bad deal and try to make money by selling it. So your money always comes during this step on the buy. And that ends up leading to step 6, which is renovating the home. Once you buy it, you need to grab that other person on your team, the contractor, and get this home fixed up. Now, deciding how to fix up a home, what it should cost, what colors to use, all those things take skill. I've gone over some of the things we use in other videos. I've also gone over how to estimate repair cost, so we'll link to those down below. You can check them out. But as I keep saying, flipping is one of those things that you're gonna probably want a mentor with, you're gonna want help with. And we literally give you all of the systems and processes we use in my business so that you can use them and know exactly what things should be. And in my programs, we give you all of the systems and processes that we use in my business so that you can use them on your first deal and when you scale. Now, once that's all said and done and you renovate the property, it's now time for step 7, which is listing the property. This is where the last member of your team, the realtor, is gonna come into play. They are going to be the one that lists the property for you. Now, make sure that when your realtor lists it, they are going to be listing it for a price that is reflective of where the market is. If there's very low inventory, you might be able to get more than you thought. If there's a lot of inventory, you might have to list it for lower than you thought. You also want to make sure they have professional pics from a photographer. You never want to use the pics from your iPhone. That is a recipe for disaster. I know this because I used to do it when I first started out and it was really dumb. You also want to make sure they write a nice description and that overall the listing looks great. Once they list the home, it leads you to step 8, which is selling the home. Eventually you get an offer, you go through their process of buying it, and then you sell the home and make a profit on your very first deal. This is where you finally get paid for all of the hard work it took you to get to this point, but I can tell you, the hard work is worth it. There's a reason I still flip today because it is one of the most lucrative businesses that is out there. It's a business that doesn't require a college degree. You don't have to have your own money. You don't have to have great credit. All you need to do is take action and believe in yourself. Seriously, that is the biggest thing I see why people don't ever succeed in this business is because they have paralysis by analysis. They just keep analyzing and they don't do anything. And all of that analyzing just brings more fear and more inaction, and it's not good. Biggest thing I would say if you're watching this video and you've made it to this point is that you need to just take action. You're gonna make mistakes. That happens with anybody. I still make mistakes to this day. But if you have the fundamentals and you have the right support system and you have the people around you training you who've actually done it, there's no reason you can't succeed. And as I mentioned before, at Future Flipper, we can definitely help you do that. But regardless of if you work with us or not, I really do hope that this video gave you a lot of value. If it did, do me a big favor, hit the like button. If you're not already, make sure you subscribed. I've got a ton of other real estate videos that are completely for free and are gonna give you a ton of value as well. And if you want daily content, make sure you go follow me on all my other socials. I'm active on there daily, as I said. You can get a lot of value just from this, but I would highly recommend checking out Future Flipper because we can help you out even more. But anyways, that's all I got. Appreciate you for watching. Take care.